Hello, family. This is Brother Jamala, also known as Brother Soldier 4D, coming at you with part 3 of Strength of Character in the context of Black African struggle, in the context of the Black African struggle. Parts 1 and 2, we basically talked about some of the characteristics of the strength of character and how it's needed and how it can be developed in so many ways. A lot of times we're highlighting these things, and I've used the method to flow with and let it come a little more natural, and just kind of use my notes as a guide rather than sticking totally to notes, because it comes with more of a spiritual push and meaning. So that's kind of what we're doing in this one. We shared some scriptures out of the book of Exodus, chapters 1 and 2, about strength of character when you're under the pressure to be faithful to your culture and your heritage, when at the same time you're being checked and oppressed by those who don't love you, or who look at you as a threat. How you have to function and operate under that, being loyal to those who suffer like you, but at the same time trying to satisfy an overseer who represents a foreign culture or another agenda. Now, when we're working, let's go to the corporate workforce, wherever that is. Usually in the diaspora, it's called corporate America, or it's called whatever the case is just where we work. I think in the work setting, you have your biggest challenges there, because that's where you earn your bread, that's where you eat, that's where you make your living for your family. So a lot of times you want to be able to be a good steward in that job and serve the best interests of the company, and at the same time be able to deal with your loyalty to your people and who you're born with. And some people just outright throw their family aside and throw their culture and history aside and say they're not giving me a check, they're not paying me anything, so those so-called Negroes ain't got no place in my books. I got to take care of mines and me and mines and I. That may work for you for a season, but you have generation and generations and generations to come. One day, when the nature and God decides to pull the carpet out from under the economy of that nation that you thrive in, and all the rubber meets the roads, all hands are on deck, and when the economy contracts, meaning that the jobs are few, you will see if your loyalty is going to pan out, because when it comes back down to it, all you have is your own people, and all you have is those that look like you. Because when the other people decide that they cannot no longer afford to allow you to take part in the economy, they're going to cut you loose, and they're going to put their people before you. So you have to be able to have something to support you. That's why I think that as you move more towards independence, no matter what you do, you should be trying to move towards growing your own food, move towards trying to bring revenue in with some other way outside of that corporate position. So when it all comes down to it, it's just you and your God and your people. And nobody's going to put your people before their people. History tells you that. Now, they may throw you a few bones here and there, but for the most part, they're not. And so you have to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So if you look at your history, you'll see how things had transpired and things had happened. You see people getting killed, people getting lynched, people getting burned, people when all chaos hits, when the crap hits the fan, all chaos, every man for himself, God for all type of mentality. Well, I'm just saying, I think that we're in trouble if you really want to look at it as a people that had the chance to invest in the motherland. We had chances to try to get ourselves up out of this situation, and we still want to try to be on equal settings with those people who have oppressed us historically, and we want to still compete and thrive with them. And I think that's old. It's over. You could disagree with me. You could disagree with me, but it's over. We have to do for ourselves. We have to look out for ourselves. And you love people in the midst of this. You don't treat people wrong, but at the same time, you have to look out for your best interest because nobody else is going to do that. And as I said in the previous topics when we were discussing, one historian named John Henry Clark said, Africa, you have no friends. That even means the diaspora. You can look historically and see that you really have no friends. No matter how many hospitable greetings and hello and promotions you get, when it comes down to it, you really have no friends. So you have to prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Don't be caught with your pants down. Roll your sleeves up and get ready to work and invest in your people, your culture. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no sin to be black and African and Christian at the same time. You'll say, well, Brother Soldier, where does it tell me that in the scripture? It says love yourself. If God created you to be yourself, then who are you? If you're African, love it. If you're European, love it. Love yourself first. With the strength of God, and love God, but demonstrate it in how you deal with your brother every day. Don't tell me. There's some people that I've met, Buddhist monks, Christians that stay all day in the prayer room, pray all day long, but can't treat their brother right. But they have never seen this invisible God. Like they've never seen him, but they won't treat their brother right. So that is a part of character that has to, is foolishness. It's hypocritical. So I digress. But anyway, as far as strength of character in the context of African struggle, I told you have to be an extraordinary person to pass those tests. Some tests you may fail, but for the most part, you're thriving to be an overcomer. And so the price, in this lesson, part 3, we want to talk about the price. The price is kind of what I've been going over, the price that you pay for not investing in your people and your own. Like I said, you'll be left out there. They'll be taking care of their people. You won't be taking care of yours. There's also a price that when you're a trader, those who you step on your way up will be the ones you'll see on your way down. Most of the time when people have escaped from the ghettos and from the projects in North America, they go out to these affluent communities. Once those things turn, there's race riot and racial tensions. They'll start attacking you. You bring your behind back to where you started. But if you stumped your people in the ground, they're not going to know whether they could trust you or not. So you have to learn there's a price to pay for making the choices that we make. But you'll say, what do I have to gain out of investing in a bunch of poor Negroes? They can't do anything for me. If I go to jail, they can't bail me out. True. There's some things that you have to look at realistically. But those are still your people. And your attitude towards your people is going to be what God is going to look at when we stand before him. Because he said, as much as you do, whatever you do to the least of these, you've done it unto him. So if you do good to the least of these, you've done it unto him. If you do bad to the least of these, you've done it unto him. The whole end of this is we want to make it, when we make our transition, we want to be accountable on the other side. We want to be able to say we did a good job. Some people will say, oh, don't give me that Christian crap. Like my brother, if you one of those brothers that say that, I tell you this. I haven't seen no doctor, nobody pull us up out of this stuff. I have not seen any scientists and any educators be able to bring us back from the dead and be able to give us a promise of what we're going to have in a life that is to come. But I see nothing wrong with that gospel message. It's a good news to me. It's saying that we can be immortal. It's saying that we can change. I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. I'm good with it. There's nothing wrong with a message that tells me to love my fellow man and I owe love to my people. There's nothing wrong with that message. So I would take my chances and go that route. But while I'm here on this earth, I'm going to be dealing with the least of these the best I can. If I can help them, that's the way I would want to be treated. Brother, I'm struggling. You help me, I help you. Okay? Even if you're a European man and you out stranded and I can help you, if for some reason I'm passing and I can help you, I help you. There's no hate there. But for the most part, I'm going to be dealing with the people. I said earlier in one of our topics, I said the wheel that squeaks the loudest, that's the one that gets the oil. So if my people are struggling the worst, that's who I'm going to put my attention to. The least of these. And then it says also in the scripture that if you mislead one of these little ones, you do one of these little ones wrong, you turn them away from the gospel, turn them away from God, turn them away from the love of the people, whatever the case is, it'd be better if a millstone was tied about your neck and you was cast in the depth of the sea rather than for you to stand before the Creator and the God of history. I don't want to be in that position. But that's not what motivates me. That's just another motivating factor that keeps me on the right track. But my love is what keeps me there. I'd rather do it by love and not by chore. So when we talk about strength of character is one that is looking out not only for your own personal best interest, but the best interest of your people and your fellow man. Being a good Samaritan when the time calls for you to be a good Samaritan. Not being like the priest and the Levite that steps over the good Samaritan when he's attacked by robbers and he's laying out there to die. What could happen to me if I help this dude? Well, what could happen to him if you don't help him? That's the parable of the Good Samaritan. And Jesus said in that parable, that is your neighbor. Do likewise. Because one guy came to him and said, who is thy neighbor? That's your neighbor. Your neighbor is those people that are close to you. Those people that are near you. You can't love everybody because you don't know everybody, but the people that are near you, your neighbor. If it's your enemy, he's a lot of times talking about your envious brother, your jealous siblings, and those people like that, But, on a national level, we'll talk about that at another time, but we're talking about the people that you see every day. A dude could sleep with your wife, sleep with your lady, and could become your enemy. He could steal some money from you and he become your enemy. So an enemy can come in all forms. So anyway, strength of character. People with strength of character do not fail these kind of tests, or either they're thriving to overcome in these challenges, and those challenges do not determine what they do not. When you're up against a challenge that you don't want to stand up to, you still have a choice. But those challenges are to make and bring the best out of you, not to get you to turn. And it tells your loyalty and what you're really made out of when your back is up against the wall. So choose you this day who you will serve and be loyal to it. Now, this is part 3 of strength of character. I think we're going to come back and talk to you about fighting and about the spirit that comes with fighting for what's right and how the dynamic of fighting creates enemies as well as brings friends. So we're going to kind of move into that in our next topic. But these are a 3-part series for this strength of character, and maybe later on we'll add another session to this. But in the meantime, as Imhotep said, man, know thyself. Self-knowledge, self-love, and the love of our God, Creator, is our only way out. Peace.